guys, it's John from theproductivegarden.com again, and today we're going to be talking about pruning apple trees. Apple trees need a little bit of special care when they're pruning. Just like other trees need certain things to be done, apple trees need things to be pruned in a certain way. Right, before we start pruning, what we need to do is to clean our secateurs. Whenever you prune a tree with any sort of cutting implement, it's a good idea to clean it, just in case there's any fungus or bacteria, anything disease on it that might damage the tree. So to clean it, we use methylated spirits. So we get the methylated spirits, just pour a little bit onto a scourer, and just give the blades a good scrub with the scourer on both sides, both the top and the bottom blade. And you should do this between trees as well, and do it at the end so you finish and your blade's clean for next time. And it's always a good, even though you've cleaned it at the end, it's always a good idea just to go over it again before you start cutting next time you do a job. You should do this with any implements like secateurs like these, bigger loppers, saws, those sorts of things, just to make sure you don't pass any diseases from one tree to another. Okay, let's go start pruning. Now, a thing to remember with apple trees is they flower off old growth, or fruit or flowering spurs from old growth, or fruiting spurs from old growth. So you don't want to cut all the old stuff off, like things like these big branches here, this branch here, all the old branches. That's where you're going to get your old growth from. The new growth, that won't be what, the old growth is where you're going to get your fruit from. The new growth isn't where you're going to get fruit from yet. Other things you want to look out for is branches that go straight up like this. They will eventually turn into big branches, so you want to limit them to the shape that you desire, and also branches in the middle of the tree like this. Okay, so what I want to do for this tree in doing it is, because I've got a quince tree here nearby and I've got our little fairy garden here, I want to limit the size of the tree a little bit. And I also want to open it up in the middle a bit so that it doesn't get too crowded. We've got branches that are starting to cross over and those sorts of things. So what I'm going to do is, the branches that are going through the middle, I'm going to remove them. Branches that are going straight up like this, I'm going to remove or reduce them. And stuff that's getting out too wide, much more wide than what I want it, I'm going to remove that as well. So things I'm going to do, like I said, the fairy garden here is a bit of an issue. So I'm going to cut this off here, and what I'm going to cut it off to is I've got a bud here that is going upwards. So whenever you prune, you always want to choose a bud that's going in the direction that you want to prune. So you don't really want a bud that's going down. Don't prune off to a bud that's going down, because that'll just grow down and then go up. Anything that's going inside, you don't want to do that either. Okay, now this one here, these are going straight up. I don't really want that. And we've got this branch going out. So what I'll do is I'll prune them back here. And what I'm going to do when I prune, I'm going to do it at an angled cut. Okay, so the reason I use an angled cut is I don't want a flat cut that water's just going to sit on and disease can enter through. An angled cut will tend to allow water to run off, and you're not going to get water sitting on there and allowing disease to come through. Now, like I said, inward facing branches, they've got to go straight away, because they're going to crowd in the middle of the tree. This one here I'll remove as well. Okay, these are crowded, these are crowding in the middle of the tree, so we'll get rid of them. These small ones here, they're eventually going to become problems, so I'll get rid of them as well. Okay, this branch here, I don't really want this branch coming up the middle, so I'm going to remove that as well. Okay, this branch here, like I said, it's in the middle as well, so we'll remove that. Okay, and what we're left with here, we've got a few here. I might remove this one as well, it's a bit more than what we want. Okay, so we've got a few here. We want to make things so that it does spread out a bit so it doesn't crowd the middle. So what I'm going to do is remove this branch as well, so it doesn't get too much in the middle. And to make it spread out more, I'm just going to prune this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prune it. I've got a bud here that's facing outwards, so I'm going to prune it so that bud becomes the growing bud. This one here, I've got a bud facing outwards just here, so I'll prune this one from here. Okay, and this one here, I've got an outward facing bud here, so I'll prune that one down to there. Okay, this one here is going up through the middle, so like I said, we don't want to crowd the middle of the tree. So I'm going to remove this branch altogether. Okay, this one here, to encourage it to branch out a bit more. Going to remove that branch there, and this one as well. And again, I've chosen buds that face outwards so that branches spread out more rather than crowding the inside again. Okay, and this one here, I'll cut this off here again, so we've got a branch that's facing outwards. Right, this branch here, I think I'll remove that altogether as well. Righto, so to limit the outside, I'm going to remove this branch also and encourage this to branch out by, I'm going to prune it right there. So we've got a bud on the outside here that again is going to grow out and up. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the shape of that tree as well. I've made it a little bit more compact and I've cleared the middle of the tree as well, and now we're going to get extra branches branching out and creating, in the future, that'll create more wood that's going to produce fruit. And we've got plenty of buds here, so that when this does start budding, we're going to get plenty of leaf growth coming off. We've got still lots of old growth here, which will still produce fruit. Yeah, so we should get some nice fruit. Maybe not this year because I've cut a bit of old wood off as well, but next year, once things all settle in, it should do really nicely and it should produce a healthier, less crowded tree. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we've got another tree that I haven't done much pruning on yet, and we're going to show how to set up the basic structure, the vase structure of the tree that you've got. But what I'm going to do first, before I go to another tree, is I'm going to clean my secateurs again. Okay, so this is my younger tree, and you can see here it's got 3 main branches that are coming up, and I've let them get pretty long. I probably should have pruned them a lot sooner so I get more branching out, but better late than never. Now the first thing I'm going to do, I've got a small branch down here, which I really don't want here, so I'm going to get rid of it straight away. So that branch is gone. This one here, like I said, we're looking for a bud that faces out. Now I might get this down a little bit so that I can get some good branching out and some shape from down low. So I'm going to go to, I'll bring it down to this bud here. So we'll cut it, that bud there, again it's facing out. This one here, I'll get to this bud here which is facing out again. And remember, always do those cuts on an angle. And this one here, I've got a bud facing outwards here, so I'll cut that right there. And now what you'll get is you'll get these branches here, which will become the main part of the branch. They will come out from now and they will grow out. Okay, so we'll get more of a vase shape coming out. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you find that useful and you use it to prune your trees in the future. Okay, thank you very much, and until next time, happy productive gardening. Bye.